you so much, El Paso. See you next time.
Welcome to the 95.5 KLAQ virtual meet and greet with the one and only Andy Biersack from Black Veil Brides. So here's how we're going to do it. Everyone who is here, thank you so much for taking time to be here for this extremely special moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to give everyone a chance to come in, ask you a question, take about 2-3 minutes. And once you're done with your question, we're going to move on to the next person, just to make sure that everyone has a chance to talk to Andy. So Andy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's get the first person in. It is Lorenzo. You're first, man.
I think we're connected. Hey, Lorenzo, how you doing?
Oh, shoot, what's up?
How you doing today?
All right, and you?
Very well, very well. How's life?
I'm at work right now, and it's freaking hot.
Yeah, we're going through a heat wave in California as well, so it's
I heard.
it's hotter in my house, I think, than outside right now. It's very hard to keep keep it all right. Lorenzo, you got a question for me?
Oh, no, not really. Well, I did, but couldn't think of them right now. Now since I'm here.
That's all right. What do you do? What do you do with your time?
Well, I'm security at a casino. Watch movies when I'm at home. Sleep.
At the casino, being a security guard, I imagine you see some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah. This about a couple of weeks ago, I caught 2 people messing around in the vehicle.
Oh, okay. All right. It's very specific.
Yeah. Basically, I'm just outside, just watching the vehicles and all that.
Oh man, so you're burning through AC in your car then right now.
Oh well, it's the company vehicle, but yeah.
Nice, nice. So you don't got to worry about gas costs. They're covering it.
Oh no, not even.
All right. Well, that's good. Lorenzo, have you heard about Black Veil for a long time? How are you
yeah.
a fan?
Definitely since 2013.
Fantastic. Long time fan then.
Oh yeah, and I remember at Warped Tour, I believe you were sick, so the band was there, but they were just doing meet and greets.
Oh, in 2011, that was a Warped Tour where I had broken my ribs, and the band was just doing meet and greets because I was not there yet.
Yeah, I believe that, and they're just doing meet and greets at the Warped Tour in Las Cruces. So
yeah, I had to take a couple shows off, and then against the advice of my doctor, went on tour with broken ribs. So you were there for a rare instance where the band was there and I wasn't.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Lorenzo, I just want to say before
Perfect.
we get going here, thank you so much for your years of support. It means a lot to me.
Well, thank you. You're pretty awesome, man.
Thank you so much, man, and I hope that you stay cool in your car out there watching the people at the casino. Hopefully nobody does anything too weird, and hopefully you can just chill and enjoy the rest of your day.
Oh yeah, and just American Saints and Paradise City were awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Thanks so much, Lorenzo. It's nice to meet you.
All right, man. Stay cool.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.
All right, thank you, Lorenzo. So let's bring in the next person, which will be Martina. Martina.
Hello, Martina.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
Very good. Where are you at right now? You at home?
Yeah, I'm at home.
Do you enjoy home? Are you having a good time?
Yes, I am. My partner's right over there. She's doing homework.
Hello. Hello. What is her name?
Her name is Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie. I don't know if she can hear me, but hello.
Hi.
Oh, hello. Hi, Stephanie. How you doing? So are you a longtime fan of the band, or how did you discover the band?
Middle school.
And I mean, I don't know how long ago that was. What year?
I'm 21 now.
Okay.
So
And I'm 65 now, so that's how that math works.
Exactly. So it's been I don't know, like 7-8 years.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for sticking with us. I like your shirt, Tootsie Pops.
Thank you.
One of the more disappointing candies of my adolescence, because the combination of the fruit candy with the chocolate interior was never that great. Like it seemed like it was going to be good and so rarely good. I would say the cherry one is maybe good, the dark cherry one. The orange one is just aggressive. It's too much. The citrus, it doesn't go well.
It doesn't go well at all.
But the shirt is cool. So
Thank
at least there's that.
Right.
Do you have any questions for me or anything you'd like to know?
Oh my God, I'm sorry, hold on.
That's all right.
I wanted to ask you how COVID affected your career.
I would say that, for us, just on a practical level, it's been a very interesting year for everybody. We were meant to go on tour for the whole year, and we had kind of, had a rebirth within the band, and with the addition of Lonnie, things were going so well, and we were so excited, and we got to play just the one show in Mexico City, and it was like our favorite show we had ever played, and the band was clicking, and we were so stoked, and that got derailed, and then. The reality is, regardless of who you are, so many of our industries and our jobs are shut down to where that was a very difficult thing on a personal level, just dealing with how do you keep this going and not have any kind of, financial flow and figuring out how to make it work. And what we did was we were very fortunate that we were able to just kind of go, okay, let's make a record. And we spent the entire year just devoting it to making the best album we can make. And, we were constantly getting tested, constantly making sure that we were being safe, but we were always around each other, the five of us in the band, and kind of, we'd be home and then the studio, home and then the studio, and it was just an everyday thing. So in many ways, I feel like my life was less affected on a day-to-day because even though I wasn't able to go on tour, I'm so used to the rhythms of going in the studio, going home, going to the studio, going home, because every record I've ever made, that's kind of the way it happened. But, the only difference was there was no other options. You couldn't go to the studio and then go out to dinner and then go home. You know what I mean? It was just studio and back. But I would say that if there's a silver lining for all this from a career perspective, it's that we were given such an opportunity to focus solely on the art and the music and kind of no other outside stuff. It was just being with our families and then being at work. And that allowed for us to make what I think is one of the best records we've ever made.
That's amazing. That's really awesome.
What about you? How have you been this past year?
I'm a medical assistant at a doctor's office, so we closed for quite a while.
Yeah.
But we ended up coming back in, and it's just been so much different. We've limited contact with our patients. Now we're seeing them in the office again, but we were doing just doxivity calls. I was out of the job for a while, but it's gotten a lot better now.
I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, it seems like for a lot of folks things are starting to brighten up a little bit, and that's that's a really, really good thing.
Definitely.
Well, thanks so much, Martina. It was very nice to meet you, and I appreciate your question.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much. You actually
say
play
bye to
San
Stephanie
Antonio
as
on my
well for me.
birthday.
Oh, okay, awesome. Well, we'll see you on your birthday.
Hopefully. And I will definitely tell her goodbye.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we got our next person in, and this next person is May. Thank you, May, for joining us.
Hello, May.
Oh my God.
May, you
Hi.
are on a idyllic, picturesque beach right now.
Yeah. Oh my God.
How are the palm trees? How's the ocean waves?
It's a breeze.
It looks like it. It looks wonderful. Yeah, and very strong Wi-Fi connection for being on what appears to be like a deserted beach.
Oh my God, I can't believe I'm here.
May, where are you really right now? Are you at home?
Yeah, I'm at home.
And do you like being home? Do you have what do you do with your time?
Play chess, listen to music, do schoolwork. Yeah, just the basic stuff.
I don't know how to play chess. I don't even know how to play checkers. It was the barrier for entry was too high when I was a kid. I couldn't figure it out, and then I just decided never to work it out. So, do you like chess? Do you think I could maybe figure it out if I tried?
Yeah. I started learning in 4th grade, and then I really got into it for some reason, and I decided to join a chess club, and yeah, I've gotten
Very
better.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How long have you known about my music or the band?
Like 2 years. I know it's not that much, but I
That's
really like
okay. 3 years is a long time. We've been in a year of COVID world, and that seemed to be about 5 years. So 3 years can add up. What's your favorite song?
I really like your old stuff, like Knives and
Okay, so
Pens.
nothing new that we do anymore.
Oh,
You've
of course
completely
I
written a
like,
song.
of course I like, your new stuff, but I like to listen to the classics.
Of course, understood. I appreciate that. So, do you have any questions for me?
Yes. What advice would you give someone, aka me, who wants to start in the music industry since you started so young?
Advice to somebody who wants to start in the music industry, I would say the same advice I always give, and it sounds kind of silly and simple, but do not be afraid to have people tell you that you suck. That is something that, for me, was wisdom that I learned the hard way. When you first start, if you're good, if you're bad, if you're doing anything, there is this inclination that other people will have to go, oh, it's terrible, or oh, you're not any good, or because I don't know what it is, this human instinct of wanting to kind of tear other people down, specifically in the arts. If it's a competitive thing or if it's people's jealousy or whatever it is, there is a instinct that people will have to be rude to you, and a lot of people stop what they love doing because they fear the rejection that comes with putting yourself out there. And when you're going up on stage or when you're recording something or you're part of a band or an orchestra, whatever it is, you're putting yourself out there in a way that sometimes can be uncomfortable. And so if you go into a situation knowing that you love what you're doing, you're excited about getting to do it, you know that you're going to grow and get better as you work, and you're going to apply yourself and make sure that you hone your skills over time. If you can walk in with sort of a shield and a suit of armor that you make of your own kind of, not necessarily ego, but instinct and excitement, it's much harder for people to pierce that armor with negativity or, being mean or rude or whatever it is. So I would always say to really practice your belief in yourself and get strong in your own personal ethics and who you are as a person. And then you'll be able to go out into the world, and regardless of whether you're good or you're bad or whatever it is, you'll be able to kind of weather the storm until you can really get to where you want to be.
Thank you. That's so true.
No worries, May. Thank you so much for your question. It was very nice to meet you. Enjoy your
Nice to
time
meet
on
you
the
too.
beach.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I gotta say, for someone on the beach, she had amazing Wi-Fi, amazing connection too.
You don't see that very often. I'm not a beach person, but I imagine if I were out there, it would be rough.
What kind of person would you say? Are you more of like a desert person or like a forest person?
I'm just an indoor. I'm like an indoors cat. I'm just inside. I'm
Nice.
not very outdoorsy. I grew up in the Midwest around trees and woods and forests. I guess that
Mm,
would be my spot if I had to pick like an outdoorsy type thing. But I'm an indoor cat.
nice. All right, well, let's bring in our next person, who is Robert. Robert has a question for you. So, hello, Robert.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. We can hear you now.
Good. Sorry.
What's your name?
My name is Madison.
Hi, Madison. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, and you?
Very well. And I assume Robert is right next to you. Is that Robert?
Yes,
This is
sir.
my dad.
Hi, Robert. How you doing today? So Madison, what do you do for fun? What are you up to right now?
Um, Usually if I'm not doing classes, I just read or I listen to music.
Fantastic. Both wonderful pursuits. How long have you known of my band or me?
I found Black Veil Brides I've heard about you guys for a long time, but I didn't start getting into music about like 2 or 3 years ago, and
Okay,
that's when
awesome.
you as well.
And what's your favorite song?
Oh, that one's tough. I really like Goodbye Agony or
Oh,
The Legacy. I really love those two.
great calls. I like both of those songs. I mean, of course, I'm biased, but I like all of our songs, but I like those two in particular. Do you have a question for me, Madison?
Yes, I was wondering what you were most excited for about the Phantom of Tomorrow.
I'm excited for it to come out. It was such a fun process making the record, and we really grew as a band and just as friends. We've been doing this a long time, and so over the course of the last 12 years, there's been highs and lows, and you're either going to grow closer together over that amount of time, or you're going to drift apart. And I feel very fortunate that around the time of making this record, we really grew just as friends and as musicians, and being able to spend time like I said earlier, the silver lining of making this record is that, you know, well, I guess the silver lining of the last 18 months of the kind of craziness the world has been is that we were able to have a lot of time to make this album and grow together as people. And I think it really shows in the music that this is a very, you know, it's a band that's having fun, that we're enjoying ourselves, and that we can't wait for the world to hear this stuff and to get to go on tour and play rock and roll shows again. I'm very excited about that.
I'm very excited to hear it. Do you guys think that once the album does come out, you'll come do shows over here in El Paso?
We would love to. Would love to play in El Paso again. So we will. You can mark your calendar. We'll be there soon.
Great.
Thanks so much, Madison, and thanks, Robert. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.
All right, thank you so much. We got another person with more questions for you. We have Danielle coming up.
Okay. Danny, are you there? And then we can talk about my hobbies. Danny, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
Danny, I have to tell you, and you know, obviously don't have to use video, but the reveal that we thought was coming after the exploding astronaut image is really something. Oh, there we go. Hi, Danny.
Hi.
Can you give us some backstory on your display image there?
So I get in trouble a lot at school because I don't like to follow the type of stay in your lane type of rules that they have there.
Understood.
And so one of the rules is that we can't have anything graphic for our Zoom photos. And so I chose that photo, and I have gotten in trouble a lot this year for it.
Well, look, I'm not advocating for it, but I certainly was the same sort of person in school. I was not a big fan of school rules. In any event, we're here, we're talking. Danny, what are you up to today, other than skirting school rules?
Nothing really. School's finally out, so I've just been chilling, and also been anticipating meeting you because I've been listening to Black Veil Bride since I was around 8 years old.
Wow. That's fantastic.
And I've never been allowed to go to concerts or anything like that, so this is really cool for me.
This is awesome. I'm happy to meet you, and thanks for the years of support. What's your favorite song?
It really depends on the day.
Preferably by us, not just in general. I mean, I guess you could tell me your favorite general song, but I'm more asking specifically about the art that I'm involved in.
I'd probably say Fallen Angels just because I've been called a fallen angel before multiple times.
Okay, interesting. I like that. So, do you have any questions for me, Danny?
Kind of. Out of all the songs you've ever made, what's the one that has brought you the most joy making?
The most joy making the song. So there's different ones. I would say I think of three. Lost It All from the Wretched and Divine record because it was just such a I've talked about it before, but the demo version of that song versus what everybody has heard was so different because it really started with just like a very basic idea, and then gradually that record was also made in the time where we had CDs, so we would get copies of the day's work on a CD, and then you would listen on the drive home from the studio, and like hearing the gradual progression of that song from bare bones demo to like big epic with horns and Juliet's vocals and all this stuff. So that, and then not an original song of mine, but Lilith and I doing the cover of the Adele song that was on the Pop Goes Punk. It's When We Were Young. That was just so much fun doing that with Feldman, and we just had a blast. And then on this new record that you haven't heard yet, there's a song called Fall Eternal, which is my favorite song on the record, and it was just like, again, one of those big moments where getting the process of going through like the beginning to end and seeing it from just a kind of a sketch to this big epic huge song, it was a lot of fun.
That sounds really cool. I'm excited to hear it.
Yes, Fall Eternal. I think they're all my favorite song, but I think it's my favorite song on the record. Actually, Shadows Rise might be my favorite song. It's too hard. I like in the singles, I like them all.
I think it's hard to choose, like, even if you're just talking about one artist specifically, it's hard to choose a favorite song because, again, depending on like what mood you're in and just the general way the day's been going, it can influence what songs hit more.
It's very true that, you know, I don't know that I'd be able to answer the question with a lot of my favorite artists because you're right. Depends on the day or the mood or the time. You might go, oh, I haven't listened to this record for a while, and then you put it on, you go, oh, why? This is my favorite record of all time. Why haven't I listened to this in a while? You know what I mean? So I get it. I'm with you, Danny.
I do have another question. Has there ever been a time when you kind of felt like maybe you weren't doing what you were meant to be doing?
Yeah, there were some times early on. It wasn't that I wasn't doing what I was meant to be doing, but there were some times, I would say between 2012 and 2013, no, 2011 to 2012 and into 2013. It's kind of a transitionary era for the band. And yeah, it just felt like we were kind of going in a path that for me artistically didn't really feel like the way that I wanted to go. And that was when ultimately we wound up doing Wretched and Divine. And I feel like we kind of course corrected into a way that I believe we've kind of been going down that path since. And I know that a lot of people love the early era of the band a lot, but I feel for me as a writer, Wretched and Divine is kind of where I figured out how to write, you know what I mean? And figured out how I would like to see the visions in my head kind of come to life. And so for me, that was kind of like, that was the correction. But as far as a kid, I just, you know, I grew up in a small town. I never felt like I never really had friends. I never felt like anything I was doing was what I wanted to be doing with my life. And from the moment I could figure out that I wanted to be in a band, kind of my whole life was about I'm not doing what I want to do yet and figuring out how to get to that point.
That's really cool.
Thank you,
For
Dan.
me, like, I like to write music, although I'm very terrible at getting my idea into the form of a song.
Sure.
But I've grown up with music my whole life. I grew up with my grandparents, and so I started off listening to oldies music and early rock music, and it evolved into listening to you guys. Sorry, my dogs are barking. But for me, my parents have always made it clear that like music is not an option for me, but that's always the place like I felt the most safe in.
Well, look, I would advocate do what you want to do with your life as long as you're not hurting anybody else and you're putting positivity out into the world. I would pursue music to the ways that you want to pursue it. And as far as writing goes, I'll just quickly say don't worry about writing crappy songs. Everybody writes crappy songs at first. It takes a long time to figure out how to write a good song. So don't worry. Write 100 crappy songs. Eventually the 101st will be good.
That's very good advice. I've never thought
All right.
about it that way.
Thank you so much, Danny. It was wonderful to meet you, and I hope you get to come to a show one day.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Martina, did you have an extra question for Andy?
I put on the spot. I didn't know this was happening again.
That's okay. You don't have to. We just, you know, we're going back through.
How did you come up with your band name?
So it is I grew up Roman Catholic, and it's a Catholic term. So when a nun marries into the church, they have a whole ceremony, and she marries God. And I always like the idea of, you know, the devotion that it takes, the positive and negative imagery there of like being a band and going on tour. The idea is that you're giving up everything for this dream and this pursuit that you have. And in the situation of a nun in a religious sense, it's giving up the carnal pleasures of life to, you know, be married to God. So I thought, in my mind, it seemed like a nice kind of juxtaposition.
That's awesome. I've loved your band for a really, really long time. So that's really cool to know.
Yeah, it's to me, it's about devotion to something and caring about something.
That's amazing.
Thanks, Martina.
Yeah, thank you for your question. May?
Who's next?
May, do you have another question for Andy?
Yes.
May is now in the Aurora Borealis. Very different
traveling
place.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. How did you learn to metal scream?
I guess I'm self-taught in that sense. Just growing up listening to stuff and thinking, I want to figure out how to make that noise, and then over time learning how to make that noise. I used to do it in a way that damaged my voice because I wasn't doing it properly, and then over the years I've kind of learned the method. But there's actually a lot of great subsequently, since I started doing it when there was no information on the internet. Now I've seen that there's tons of videos and YouTube stuff. So if you're interested in doing it, I think there's tons of like tutorials and stuff out there.
Oh, okay. So you self-taught?
Self-taught. Maybe that's why I'm no good at it.
Well, you're definitely good at it. Like, I'm like, wow, how the heck did he learn to do that?
Yeah, just trial and error until it sounded right. Thanks, May. Who's next?
Robert, do you have another question for Andy?
Yes. How do you guys feel about touring with in this moment?
Very excited about touring within this moment. Maria and the guys are fantastic. We did a festival tour with them in Australia in 2013 and have not toured with them since. So really looking forward to it. Yeah, we've got a lot of mutual friends, and I have so much respect for Maria. It was really fun to get to feature on her song that she did for the Dark Knight's death metal soundtrack. And yeah, it's just such a nice fit, and I think we're really looking forward to it.
I look forward to seeing you guys in Lubbock.
Yes, see you there.
All right, thank you so much. We're just about to wrap things up here, but we still need to know about your hobbies.
My hobbies.
Yes.
My hobbies include making projects for myself. If I'm not working on the band, which is most of my time,
Mhm.
I like to occupy my mind with some sort of project. So whether that's building something, painting something, making something. You can't see behind me. There's like a 6 foot statue of our character Blackbird that I put together in the last several days, just in any kind of free time I have at night.
Uh-huh.
In here, I do stuff. I mount different things and build stuff and paint things, and yeah, I like to. It helps me get work done because if I'm occupying my hands with some sort of busy work, I can use my mind to think about things. So whether it's putting together furniture or whatever it is, I just like doing little odds and ends things to kind of free space in my mind to get work done. Because if I just sit down to work, sometimes I don't. It doesn't work for me. I need to be doing something. So
Right.
yeah, I like to paint. I like to draw. I like to just make stuff.
That's really awesome, Andy. And thank you, everyone, for taking time to ask you questions. Andy, thank you so much for performing on the KLAQ Facebook page. Thank you so much for writing so much amazing music, man. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. It was very nice to meet everybody, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the show.